back yet again, and Suho comes back and they get reacquainted or whatever. You know what I think it was? Ugh, such a K-drama moment. I think she's walking on a bridge. She's walking on a bridge and there's like beautiful scenery or whatever, and she kneels down and she's crying and she's like hugging her knees and she's like, I can't believe I just had to do that. I'm so sad. Da, 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 da. And who should walk up but Lee Suho? And he bends down and he's like, Jukyung, don't cry. And she's like, Suho? I'm pretty sure that's how it happened. Anyway, the boys are back in town and they start hitting it off, and like their friendship comes back. Well, kind of like picked up where it left off, you know. They still haven't confessed to each other necessarily, but they both pretty much know what it is at this point. Now, skip to some things are blurry. Yes, she does end up with Suho at some point where he's like, I'm gonna ask her out. He's like, I'm gonna ask her out, and fumbles it like all day. Something's like, he plans a whole situation, doesn't pan out that way, but by the end of the episode or whatever, he asks her out and they're together. Great. Now in the K-drama, totally different. At some point, Jukyung's face do come out, but it happens very differently. Now in the K-drama, she has a girlfriend called Kang Sujin. Or is it Kang Sujin? Sujin. Now in the K-drama, they're like good girlfriends. They're good Judies or whatever, as far as Jukyung knows. Now, Sujin is very much into Suho, and she very much does not want them to be together because in her mind, that's her man. They grew up together. They have similar family lifestyles, okay, or whatever. They make better sense in her mind than Jukyung and Suho. As far as she knows, she's always been in love with this dude, and this dude has always paid her dust. And when I say paid her dust, I mean like he's like borderline disrespectful to this girl, but she don't care because that's her man and she's gonna stick beside him. Girl, stop! So what Sujin does is she releases Jukyung's photos all up and through the school. So when Jukyung gets to school that day, she sees her bare face like plastered all over. I'm talking, it's giving burn book, okay, from Mean Girls. Like she printed pictures everywhere, and people were like, oh my god, is that what she looked like for real? So she go running home crying, la. And you know, that's a problem for Suho and Sojun. So Suho take off after Jukyung. So he's running, chasing behind her, knocking on the door, and he's like, Jukyung, let me in. It doesn't matter. I still love you. And this is before he's confessed at this point, right? Again, different K-drama, different from the webtoon, right? Okay. So he's trying to check on her, make sure she's good, and Sojun starts putting 2 and 2 together to give 4, and he realizes that Sujin did this. So he goes up to you guys. Can we get on Hwang In for a second? I'm just saying, I don't know. If you like want to be in a proper throuple, like I'm just saying. Anyway, he pulled up on Sujin. Motherfucker! You! And he was like, yo, you gonna have to see me outside. Get up. And she's like, I'm not gonna. He said, get up! I'm sorry, baby. I was scared to piss out my cat. They go outside and he reads her down for filth, and she's standing there looking stupid because I just don't see how you go to this degree to do that to your so-called friend over a dude that don't even like you, a dude that's not even nice to you. Like,
you're not that cute, and your hair is uneven, you look dusty.
True bird behavior. Like, it could never ever be me.
Stand up! Stand up!
But in the webtoon, her face don't ever get revealed until much later, in a much more sinister way, honestly. Well, you know what? I won't say it's more sinister, because having someone that you think is your friend go behind your back and post your face all over the school, particularly in high school, that's rough. And I don't know how Jookyung didn't, you know, serve her a 2-piece and a biscuit. Now, granted, Soojin could fight in the K-drama. She could, in fact, fight in the K-drama, so Jookyung would have had her hands full. But you gotta pull out a chair, honey. But in the Webtoon, it was her school bully, Jonghae. Now, when she was in middle school, this Jonghae girl used to just take the piss out of her, okay? And she's the reason why she learned how to do makeup and become who she is today, right? So, skip to Jookyung is a famous YouTube makeup influencer at this point, all right? She's on her Jackie Aina tip. She is one of the girls. And she ends up getting signed. She's working with this company, and who else should be there but Jonghae, right? Now at this point she goes by Bo Jongjo. And Jookyung recognizes her immediately, and she's like, oh
Wow. Next question. See ya.
I mean, talk about the walls of Jericho are crumbling. She almost turns down the gig. She was like, I really can't. And her manager's like, no, you really can and you really must. Okay, so the girl is trying to be friends with Jookyung or whatever because they're co-workers at this point now. But she also sees that Jookyung is more popular than her. She has more subscribers, whatever. And so she kind of wants to tamp that down. So she's like, I need to find something about this girl so that I can stay like the head bitch at this company, right? Because she's about to take my spot and I'm not having it. So she does some digging, and then she realizes this is the exact same Jookyung that she went to school with. Jookyung's Instagram and like YouTube name was Barbie Jew. Okay, so she was like, oh, this is the same girl. And she was like, I have her middle school photos. I'm going to destroy this girl, because it's very clear that Jookyung is still very much not showing her face. And when she does her makeup tutorial, she's not going from here's my actual face to here's what I can do, which would be more beneficial for her, really, but just to show like the range that she has, like the talent that it's giving. She starts with kind of like a base face, you know. She already has her foundation, her blusher and her concealer on, and then she's like upping it from there so people don't know that this is not what it's giving for real, right? So Bo Jong-jo knows that, and she leaks the photos all online, and so now it's on YouTube, which means globally people know what this girl looks like now, which is dastardly. Like, that is, which is why I stood and said, you cannot give someone this kind of power over you. You have to be the one to say, hey, this is my face, period. Hello, I'm Barbie Jew. She didn't do that, so somebody else had this kind of power to just like do that and destroy her. So Jookyung tumbles. I mean, she disappears. She ran away from home and everything, you guys. She was like, I have to get out of here. I can't, no. So she cuts her phone off and she hits it. Nobody knows where this girl is. So she goes on a little sabbatical, you guys. She hits it, and then at that point, we start focusing on other characters in the series, right? Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up and why this is important, okay, is because at this point, we really start to meet this character called Mr. H. His name is Cha Sungo. And he's pretty much the exact same story, except a male, for Jookyung. So, you know, he has really bad acne. He got teased about it, but he has the other element of, he said, you're not going to keep teasing me about my acne. I've learned how to do makeup. But he's a man, right, doing makeup. So then he had that element on top of not having clear skin. And so then people would tease him, and they was calling him like a little girly boy, you know, as people do. He said, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna become the baddest bitch that there is to ever do it, period. I am he, and he is me. So he's one of the top makeup artists on YouTube as well, I guess, whatever. So he enters a competition, I think, and him and Jookyung, they even go back and forth, whatever. I think she ends up placing higher than he does, which pisses him all the way off. Mind you, he's kind of like abrasive because he's had to be, so he doesn't know how to like chill out and be cool. Eventually he gets there, and then they become really good Judies, and they're like, you're just like me, I'm just like you, sort of thing, whatever. So Jookyung runs off to her little sabbatical. She actually runs off to the village that Mr. H came from, like his hometown. So she runs into his grandma, and his grandma was like, oh, you remind me of my sweet little Sungho, Sungho, of course. So then at this point, skip to Suho becomes a chef at a restaurant. Jookyung is doing her makeup shit, and Sojun is K-pop idol. Now, Sojun is still very much not okay. Yes, we're back in the webtoon. Okay. Sojun is still very much not okay. Like, he's still like crying about Jookyung. Like, time has passed, you guys. She has fully moved on. Barely even remembers that she dated that nigga, right? She is full on like Suho's the apple of my eye. There was never going to be another. This is where I'm at. This is home, right? And Sojun is coping with that fact not very well. And this is the part that pisses me off personally, because at this point it just kind of seems like the author just didn't want Sojun to have any kind of happy ending whatsoever. Like, why is he still suffering all of this time later? He's the only one that doesn't like. And then, like, mind you, she does a continuation of the series of like True Beauty ends here, Suho and Jookyung get married, whatever, yay. No, let me not say it like that. Like, it is cute for them, like, yay. But Sojun is an idol, like, living a very unhappy life, because he was like, I'm doing this idol shit, it's fine, but it's not fulfilling me the way that I hoped that it would. He was able to put his little sister through university, you know, moms took care of whatever. He's like one of the top idols in the business. He's very much, you know, on his taming shit. Like, he's up there. But he's not happy. He's lonely. He don't have nobody that he can really talk to and confide in or whatever. And when he do link up with Suho and Jookyung, like, he keeps it real cute. He don't like insert himself. He don't like do any like remember the times. None of that. He's very like, it's all friendship, it's all love, I'm very happy for y'all, whatever. Now Suho seems to have a little less patience for him than Sojun has for him, but I think Suho is just a very stressed individual, and he's like, I don't fully have my life all the way together, and I'm thinking about marrying this girl, and like da. You're just gonna have to read it and see. But Sojun is just going through it, and he meets Mr. H, Sungho, because he becomes his makeup artist. So then they start getting like real close, and it almost seems like, oh, this is gonna be like something. It's not. Sungho actually ends up with Sujin, which is very out of the blue, and you're just gonna have to like read that to like, you can see that that's the way that she set up the continuations. It's like, this is this person's story, this is this person's story, there's this other person in the story, they're going to end up together. So it's not a spoiler, it's just kind of like, how did we get here? Because I just knew Mr. H was gay, and like, now he's with Sujin. Mind you, Sujin in the webtoon doesn't, you know, do what she did in the K-drama, so she's kind of like a completely and entirely different character. So like, but it's still kind of like, how, because y'all play Dungeons and Dragons together, like I okay, whatever. But at the end of the day, Sojun almost has like, he almost has a moment, he almost has him, like, he was just like this close to giving him a happy ending, you guys, and then she didn't. So there's this other K-pop idol girl. Her name is Shin Hae-young. Shin Hae-young, and she's in a little K-pop group or whatever, a little girl group, and they do good. You know, they like, you know, top of their class, whatever. There was, you know, she went through a little bit, but she came back out on top. You know, you're just gonna have to read it. But she, this whole time, has had feelings for Sojourn, but she never said anything. She kept it cute or whatever, because, you know, they're K-pop idols. They can't really do nothing about it anyway. So she just like, you know, you're my little secret kind of thing. Well, eventually they start becoming friends, you know, hanging out, going to do lunch, dinner, whatever. And she starts confiding in him when she's going through a hard time and she can't think of anybody else to call, so she calls him and he come running. And he was like, what's going on? Go ahead. And she like starts crying, and so she's like, oh, so Jude, it's just so terrible. You don't have to read about it. Anyway, she confesses to him and she was like, you know what? Boom. I really am feeling you for real. Like, you are that dude. You're beautiful. You're very talented. You're my peer. And best of all, you are my friend and you were there for me. And I just needed that to be out in the open. I just couldn't hold that in anymore. But you know what? Kudos to her. Like, start speaking your feelings for real. Like, let it out. And then Sojourn was just kind of like, oh. Because he didn't, you know, so he was like, yeah, great, sure, hey, buddy, so glad I can be that for you, pal. Let's continue on this journey together, friend. Like, he's just not, it wasn't quite given for him what it was given for her, unfortunately. So he's like, nah, we not, because at the end of the day, nobody is Jugyeong. So it's just like, he's still kind of like, and he's getting past it, like his heart is healing, but at the end of the day, and that's the part that pissed me off the most, because he, like, it was right, like, you right there, and you just did, well, all that to say that the K-drama has a lot of similar features, but then it definitely does branch off after a while, because when the K-drama came out, the webtoon was not finished yet, so they, you know, they had to like kind of do their own thing, which was fine, and it was a decent show. I will give them that. I enjoyed watching everybody fully embraced their characters. It was believable. I will forever advocate that Sojourn deserves better, and that is a hill that I'm dying on, period. I cannot deal with the Han Sojourn disrespect. Like, it's too much.
I'm like, what do you say fuck me for?
But, you know, there's people that always did ship Suho and Jugyeong, and that's fine, you know. I mean, like, it makes sense in the context of everything. It does. That's who she was more comfortable with. That's who she was honest with. That's who knew her for really, for real. So, like, okay. But I think Sojourn deserved a happy ending and becoming a K-pop idol at the end of it. Not necessarily the happy ending that because he wasn't happy, but it was fine. The webtoon, it was fine, you guys. I enjoyed it. However, me personally, I feel like it kind of overstayed its welcome, only because it diverged into just completely different areas where it didn't start out the same way that it ended. You know, like Pretty Little Liars, you know how it started out very one way, and by the time the franchise ended, it was like a completely other thing, and you're just kind of like, this ain't even the same story that I walked in with. Like it was giving that. Like I stuck it out because I wanted to see how it was going to end, and I wanted to see them get married because like I did all this. Now you've got to finish it out proper, right? So like it was fine. There's so many characters that I didn't even touch on. There's so many other relationships that she has that I didn't, because it is, again, it's this main story for me. I think my other thing too is it was very high school based, and I am a grown-ass woman, you know, years far removed from high school. So there was a lot of things that were happening, a lot of choices that were being made that I simply would not have done. On top of the fact that culturally, you know, it was very different, that me as a black woman, as a Western black woman, simply would not have done. Like Soojin would have had to see me. That's period. But I think it was really well, you know, told, well rendered. The drawings, you guys, on the Webtoon, fantastic. Like, they are beautiful. Like, I love the way she stylized the characters and how they each had their own personality and colors. So even when their hairstyles changed, you knew it was that character without having to say, okay, this person's name, okay. Like, she artistically perfect. I didn't even get to the part. Oh my god. Okay, the stupid dumbass part in the K-drama. This is what, because I couldn't cut this camera off without saying this part, where they both got hit by the car. Bitch. But what had happened is Suho had wrote a song for Soyoon and Sojun. I think that's what it was. Like, it was his piano musical stylings, and it was Soyeon's song, and they heard it on the radio while they was somewhere doing something. Suho and Sojun heard it on the radio, and he was like, that's my fucking what? That I wrote that. What do you mean it's on the radio right now? So they're punching it down to the station, whatever idol station it is, or whatever, because they're like, ain't no way, because this you stole my shit. You stole my song. How do you have this right now? Because there's only a certain amount of people that would have this, and Sojun was one of them, and Sojun ain't give it to him because he's not gonna like play on Soyoon's name like that. So there was only like a few other people that might have had access to it or something. I don't know. It's been a while. Whatever. So they're hitting it down to the station to figure out what's going on. And Suho is in such a blind rage that he just crosses the street. So he just crosses the street. Sojun yelling for him, talking about, hey yo, like, it's traffic still, we don't got the crosswalk. And he runs after him to try to like pull him back, but Suho was just in such a daze. He's so mad that here comes the car. Boom. So both of them, I'm talking, he's at least 12 feet up in the air going in slow-mo. Now, Sojun isn't as high up in the air as he was, but he's still over here kind of doing like slow-mo barrel rolls, right? And then it probably take them like 10 minutes to fall back down and hit the ground. And then when he do, he laying there looking all beautiful, like a little bit of cut up on his face, a little bit or whatever, but he's looking like a sculpture, like statue of David. He just laying there like criminal. It is the most K-drama-y scene I have ever seen in my life. Actually, I just seen it again on TikTok, and that's what made me get re-mad and made me realize that I haven't talked about this yet. And so that's ultimately what made me cut the camera on for really for real. So if it's available to you, do I recommend you read or watch this? I mean, yeah. Why not? It was a good K-drama. I will definitely give them that. It was just frustrating for me to watch as a Han Sojun stan, and if we're really talking. a Hwang Yin-Yup stan. Oh my god, girl. That is my man, that is my man, that is my man. So I was just like thoroughly disgusted watching that, but like also in the webtoon, like Han Seo-joon, he's like not a bad dude, and I'm not understanding the gruff that he's getting. Like I don't, it seems like personal, almost like it's an attack. And the webtoon was fine. It is completed, so if you're one of those people that really would rather read through a completed webtoon so that you can just binge it, have at it. Now, I tried to open it recently so I could get the names that I needed to get, but it's like on a daily pass now, so I don't know if it's all like for free or whatever, but if it's available to you, go ahead and read it. It's a journey. It's a journey. And if I'm not much mistaken, I think she's getting published. Like the webtoon is going to be put in like manga form. So that, you know, beautiful for her. We love that for her. So if you have read True Beauty, or if you have watched the K-drama, or both, let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments below. And who is your favorite? Are you Team Suho or Team Seo-joon? You let me know. Me? I just feel like they should have been a throuple. I feel like they should have been. Can we talk? I feel like they should have been a throuple. Like it would have made the most sense. It just would have made the most sense. But nobody asked me. Nobody asked me. They all could have been living their best lives, and they just chose not to. And it's beyond me. Oh well. As always, may you see with a million eyes.